Good morning, students. My name is Zarifullah Shakerjan, and our subject is Integrated Study Skills. Today we will talk about error analysis and the research about learners in the interlanguage. If you are ready, let's start. At first, let me introduce you with the outline of our today's theme. We will start as usual with introduction, and after that we will continue with how to detect learners into language, and I will speak about the difference between error and mistake, and we will speak about communication strategies, sources of analysis and the stages of errors, procedures of error analysis, and we will end our lesson with the above mentioned points. Let's start. Okay, let me introduce you with the hypothesis of Brown. Hypothesis mentioned by Brown. So, by the words of Brown, he said that the first language acquisition comes naturally. Every single person can acquire his or her first language. But what regards the second language? So, unfortunately, it is not the automatically acquired language. In order to be successful in second language learning, you should try hard, you should work on it, you should be aware of the grammar rules, so maybe by comparing with your first language. But anyway, it is not a common thing, I can say that, and not all people can learn a second language. So let's continue. So, by the words of Brown, he says that by the process of learning second language, we can get knowledge on target language. So it is a usual thing, I guess, and we will get the communication function of language, of our target language. Because as a result of speaking, we will be aware of how to communicate, how to get in conversation with other people, and we will talk about the language. We will get knowledge about language in general. So when it's said knowledge about language in general, it means the skills of the language, and reading, writing, speaking, and vocabulary, plus grammar and writing, So, knowledge about life, human beings, and universe, Learning a new language, it doesn't mean only the grammar rules and the other 4 skills, but also learning another language means to learn the other country's culture, about other people, about other human beings, so that when you acquire a second language, you achieve more things in your life. And it means it's a fact that when people know 2 or 3 languages, so for example, imagine that I know 2 languages and I have 2 personalities. So believe me, even when you try to speak in your second language, your tone of voice, even your manners, speech manners, I can say, they all are changed. So even a little bit at first times I didn't pay attention to it, but nowadays I pay attention because my native language is Uzbek language, and I am another person in Uzbek language, I can say, a really emotional person. But what about the Russian language? I am a little bit strong in Russian language, but what regards to English, I enjoy it. I'm really kind, and so how can I put it better? Calm person in using English language. So I proved my words by saying that you have several personalities by learning several languages. Let's continue. So as it's written, in the 60s, researchers of second language learning concluded that students' repeated process of trial and error of hypotheses they succeed in establishing a closer approximation to the to the rules and systems used by native speakers of a language. It means that when you use your first language, it's a natural thing. You use words in an incorrect way, yeah? And the researchers wanted to express that the speakers who want to learn a Tagalog language, they also acquire the wrong words with the native speakers, And the process of interfering second language learning with first language has been described by Selinker, and the term is called interlanguage. So I'm repeating. The process of interfering second language learning with first language acquisition has been described by Selinker as interlanguage. Let's continue. But on the other hand, the Corder in 1971 clarified that learning a language is particular to be a specific individual in the sense that the learner forms his or her own self-contained linguistic system, and it is mainly referred to as idiosyncratic dialect. Yeah? So, in these years, the researchers and teachers of second language learning focused on the interlanguage hypothesis, which has been derived from the shackles of the Kach. So let's continue with the next page. Learner's interlanguage. Learner speech production data. So learner speech production data means, let me explain it. So it means that when you speak in a Tagalog language, you show how your speech is productive. It means that, so for example, imagine that you were learning a language, you have been learning a language for 3 months, and after that your speech is ready. Yeah? You are ready for speech, even I can say. And here you will inform other people regarding your knowledge, regarding your production, regarding your information in the Tagalog language. So what you learned, yeah, in these 3 months. So here, as you see, learner speech is a production data. The learner speech as an observable data reflects and underlines the learner's production competence, yeah? And it means when the learners speak, it means as an observable data, and also reflects the learner's production competence. And also learner's speech is really helpful to teachers to detect errors and gives them information about the system of the target language which the learner has already acquired. So it means that imagine that when the student is giving a speech, yeah, in the classroom, so the teacher can know about it. Teacher can notice about his or her mistakes and give comments regarding the mistakes. Error analysis. Let's analyze the errors. Errors are fundamentally considered as a means to learn skills and acquire information. And in second language learning, it's not different from a first language in the sense of trial and error nature. So as you see, there is no difference between first and second language sense as a trial of errors. It means that you can do the same mistakes in the first language as in the second respectively. So through errors and mistakes, teachers are capable to define possible keys to understand how second language language learning functions. So it means that, as I mentioned above, by the speech of students, teacher will be aware of how the student acquired the language, in which level the student acquired it, and they can give key points, even I can say that key comments to their students. Okay, let me read the words of Corder. A learner's errors are significant in that they provide to the researcher evidence of how language is learned or acquired, what strategies or procedures the learner is employing in the discovery of the language. So I do believe that you understand the words. Let's continue the difference between error and mistake. So errors and mistakes are technically two different phenomena, but unfortunately in most cases we believe that, we know that the error and mistake, I think that there is no difference. So many students say that no, there is no difference. They are just synonyms, But as you see here, we have the difference between mistake and error. A mistake refers to a performance error that is either a random guess or a slip, in that it's a failure to utilize a noun system correctly. So as you see, if you didn't know something and you use it in an incorrect way, like it means mistake. Error, it's a noticeable deviation from the adult grammar of a native speaker, reflecting the interlanguage competence of the error. So, as you see, mistakes is a random guess and error is a noticeable deviation. So, you can see the difference here. Let's continue. Examples. So, let's analyze the examples. Does John can sing? So, how do you think? Is it true or not? So, John can sing. Does John can sing? Okay, John can sing. So in the second sentence you can say, John can sing. So it is the grammatical mistake, because we usually use verb in a second form, like in a second form with the s. So John will go. Again, the same mistake. Will go. And also John may come. John may come, the same mistake. It is the common mistake among students, I guess. But like time by time, I mean year by year, you will not do the mistake. So what about the procedures of error analysis? One of the main difficulties, one of the main challenges in understanding the linguistic system of first liaison and second language learning is the instability and unpredictability of learner's system. So it means that while learning a second language, you cannot predict the learner's system, how they tend to learn the second language. So it means that you should choose for each student an individual method, individual technique for teaching them. And through frequent observations of learners, teachers and researchers notice a certain paradoxical use of linguistic systems by learners. And it means that, so as I mentioned, they tend to use their own methods to acquire a new language. So for example, one student learns by visual technique. He remembers the things that he see. He cannot imagine, he cannot visualize in his mind. So for example, I will show the students, I have a banana, but actually I don't have it. The visual learners cannot imagine it, and they will say me, teacher, no, you haven't got any banana. But we have the learners who tend to learn through reading. They read and remember every single thing, while the others prefer speaking, learning a language via speaking. So even I know people who at first acquired speaking skills, speaking abilities, and only after that they learned grammar. So it is a little bit strange, as you see. Thank you for being with me, and next time I think that you will be with me again. And goodbye. Thank you for